Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to the temple. I'm Erin Saniva, your high priestess and your instructor today. As we enter this temple, I welcome the presence of our higher selves, our highest selves. I welcome the presence, the highest consciousness into this space, highest light, highest compassion. And I ask for the divine to hold us in the light today as I welcome the benevolent teachers and weavers of the divine plan to grace this space, to support the expansion and sharing of spiritual experience and education. This is the place where we witness the work we talk about. You may be called to this space today because you are seeking connection to your divinity, or you are seeking a space where you can truly dive into your inherent perfection. It's time to remember how to heal and to walk the path of love and participate in the restoration of the divine plan on earth. And so it is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Donna. Yes, it is my birthday. I am a humble number one. I am 46 today. And so loving that it's a 1 year in a 1 year. So we are fully present to also the power of the reset that's kind of energetically happening at this time, and a lot of astrological things that are supporting us in really taking our work, taking our spirits, taking our reality to the next the next level. So let me just share this to my personal page. And I totally welcome you, totally welcome you to breathe in to your belly. We're going to actually create a container today because I believe in safety in conversation. I believe in the need to actually, I believe it. I don't need to hear that. There we go. Yes, so let's just start off fully connected. I want to create a container and also do a clearing so that it's very clear. Thank you, Diane. It's very clear to everyone, to all of us, that we're in the right place at the right time, connected to the right things for this conversation. So I invite you to take some deep breaths into your center, into your heart center. I welcome the presence of our higher selves, our highest selves, great beings that we are. I welcome the highest light of my being, Rumara, Golden Dragon. Thank you. I welcome the presence of our benevolent ancestors, keepers of the lineages of light, master teachers of lineage. I welcome the highest consciousness of Archangel Michael and the angels of the highest white light from Source. I welcome master teachers Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, beloveds. I welcome Enheduanna, great priestess and teacher. And we welcome you in your unicorn form. And we call upon the unicorns to stand in the corners, the four corners of the directions, to purify those directions and amplify their true alignments, energetic, magnetic, and physical. Thank you so much. In the center of this container, I anchor the blue cosmic flame of Sophia, the emerald crystal heart flame, the white Christed flame, and the triple solar dragon flame, from the highest light of creation through the center of our beings and anchored deep into the earth, held by Gaia. Thank you. And in the corners of this container, I place 4 pillars of light. Harmony, love, truth, and respect are imbued into this container today, into this podcast. And I call upon Keuchil and our protector dragons to encircle us and to alight atop this double terminated crystalline structure of our container. Thank you so much. All of the beings that come today are only those who love us unconditionally, who serve the highest good only in accordance to the divine plan and the cosmic sovereign law of one. And so it is. And beloveds, I welcome, I welcome the presence of the Akashic records, the Ekashic records, and the halls of Amenti. I call forward the divine presence of Sophia as source, the great womb where all life is born. Thank you. Beloved guides, guardians, master teachers, we are here to remember. We are here to remember the truth, to remember who we are. We ask for the greatest clarity, the greatest divine information to come forward at this time as it serves the highest good of all. In alignment with the golden organic timeline, and so I call forward the highest consciousness of Archangel Michael, angels of the highest white light. And I welcome Rumara Golden Dragon to also participate. So, beloveds, as you are present with me, you can place your hand on your heart, on your belly, somewhere that needs your attention and love. Welcome, Lori. Welcome, Chantal. Hello, all of you. Thank you for being here. And we welcome you, Archangel Michael, Rumara, to run a mesh of pure white light, golden white light through our beings, each and every one of us, in the present moment, and those watching the replay in their present moment. Gather up all energies, elementals, entities, demonic beings. Gather them up, remove them completely, heal them in the light, and return them to source now. If there are any earthbound spirits within our fields or vicinity, we call upon the highest light of creation from source and the angelics of this realm to come and receive these earthbound spirits who are ready to return home to source. We welcome Mother Mary. She loves to assist in this part. We welcome you, Mother Mary, your highest form, to receive these souls. Thank you so much for doing that. If there are any negative aliens within the field, I welcome Rumara to come and scoop them all up and return them to source as needed. Thank you so much. Archangel Michael, angels of the highest white light, sever and seal all cords, ties, and tethers. Gather them up and all energies associated with them, remove them completely, heal them in the light, and return them to their sources. Go to those sources and gather up all of our energy, heal it in the light, and return it to each of us, fully integrating respectively now. If we have any binds within our fields and we are ready to rescind all agreements associated with them, I call upon the heart of Elijah to come and touch these binds, whether they be curses or simple energetic bindings. Touch them with the divine loving presence now. Archangel Michael, gather up these binds and all energies associated with them at the source. At the source. Gather them up, remove them completely, heal them in the light, and return them to source now. The source and source. Two different things. We call forward if we have any curses, vows, or dark contracts in our field. We call upon our higher self to know if we are ready to rescind our agreements associated here. And we welcome the heart of Elijah to come and touch the source of each of these choice points that created the curses, vows, and dark contracts. Touch them with the divine loving presence now. And Archangel Michael Renemesh, a pure white light, gathering up these former curses, vows, and dark contracts. Remove them completely and all energies associated with them. Heal them in the light and return them to their appropriate place with source now. Archangel Michael, search throughout all of creation for all pieces, parts, or fragments of our beings that were lost or scattered due to these former energies, former curses, vows, and dark contracts. And for any other reason that we may have been fragmented, gather up these energies, heal them in the light, and return them to us, fully integrating now. Good. Archangel Michael, angels of the white light, we ask that you once more run a mesh of pure white light, gathering up all sigils, symbols, and brands, all distortions and inversions of truth within the alignment of our beings, all artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, astral and synthetic parasites, make them inert. Remove them completely, heal them in the light, and return them to source now. Thank you. Close down all portals down to the size of the head of a pin. Remove them completely, heal them in the light, and return them to source now. Seal the places where these portals were created with the solar cross, returning them to their true form and alignment with the light. Thank you so much. Okay. Archangel Michael, seal our fields with spheres of white diamond light, rainbow ray, healing golden ray, and the iridium elemental ray. Place a triple rose gold flame wall, spherical form around us, along with the platinum flame burning bright and reflecting all that is not love back upon itself. And so it is. There we go. How are you feeling? How does that feel? Hi, Whitney. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. So I don't have a big following, but I have big things to say. Hi, Jessica. I'm so glad. You're very welcome. I'm in this place where I really, here's the thing about me. Okay. Yes. I am a Taurus. Today is my birthday. I have, I made a post about this a couple weeks ago. I used to have I wasn't really able to find my truth. I didn't know what my opinion was about things. I didn't know how to suss things out for myself. I was often surrounded by people with very strong opinions. And so I would receive them and just kind of pay attention to whether or not I believed, right? And thank you, Chantal. And oh goodness, you and Roya were quite busy, Sophie. Yeah, it's been busy. Not last night, but the night before last, I was also under attack, physically under attack, feeling myself being stabbed. And that's how the reptilians get me. That's how I know it's reptilians. But just really present to like, what the heck is happening here, right? So I know I'm very much aware of the attention that my posts, when I speak negatively about Metatron, there are repercussions. And it's not lost on me as to why. Oh, hi, Judy. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It's not lost on me as to why I get these attacks, as we call them, because it is part of my nature now that I have found my center, right? And I've found my truth and my resonance, that there are beings that don't want me to speak, that don't want me to say what I have to say. And, I'm curious actually for what it's like for other people who also speak out against Metatron and who also, say things that are not popular, and what happens to them in their, in their non-visible time, right? When they're on their own, like say Dr. Samuel Lee, he speaks out about Metatron. He shares a ton of information from the Ascension Glossary. And so I'm curious, what kind of repercussions he experiences from that. But I do believe that it's important to maintain this conversation, because it's easy for us to bring forward information and then just kind of let it keep going or fizzle out on its own, and we don't really return to it. And I suppose that there are reasons that I feel called. The reasons that I do feel called to continue speaking out against Metatron is because I have to speak out against Yahweh. Because as a Sophia, right? So as a woman who is initiated for millions of years, my soul is a part of the lineage of the rose. I am a blue ray. Okay, I am a Mary, I am a Maria, right? I am a Magdalene, I am a Sophia, I am a Rose. And it's really apparent to me. Daniel, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here. It's very apparent to me the amount of effort that Metatron goes to silence Sophia's, right? And, Daniel, your energy really feels like a brotherhood, like that you're a brother of the rose, that you have this, that you have this same lineage and connection, and that your soul is part of this. I feel that strongly. You can tell me whether or not you resonate with that. But there is, I've probably shared, my girlfriend Sarah Lees, you've seen her on the friend of the podcast, right? Thank you, Therese. working with Sarah Lise actually opened my eyes to the destruction, to the danger of Yahweh. I had to help her. She called me to help her in order to, hi Amanda, to break out of the location where she was. She felt trapped there and she felt like she wasn't being allowed to leave. Now, Sarah Lise is an incredibly powerful being, human being, and experiences interference almost constantly in her life. And so it was the first time that I encountered this nefarious energy and had to basically have a conversation with this being that was representing Yahweh. And that was when I realized, like I could feel these barbs in the energy. And that was when I realized, they really are out to get us in some way or another, right? It kind of depends on what you get up to, right? How much you are actually trying to affect the realm, and whether or not they deem you as an adversary, right? An adversary of the matrix. So it makes sense to me when people who have a certain kind of experience with Metatron, a light-filled, loving energy, powerful and protective, that they experience that and they don't experience the other side of that. That would tell me that those people are probably not Sophia's, right? That would tell me that those people have a different alignment. And that there's also an aspect that I am keenly aware of, that Metatron is one of those beings that will tell you what you want to hear, just like AI. Right? Just like AI. AI will also boost your ego, tell you you're brilliant, and lie to you when you ask for information. AI will literally make things up. And so I notice an energetic signature when individuals defend Metatron, that they make things up in their defending. Or that, they share some true experience, but that there's not a foundation underneath the experience for the individual, not the experience, but that there's not a foundation under the individual as far as lineage, presence, initiation, right? Things like this. What I have noticed, and this is of late, right? It's like the conversation shifts according to, it's like the conversation shifts in response to the questioning. So now, from more than one voice, people are saying, well, there are different, there are different timelines, right? There are different realities, right? So let's take a step back and look at this, okay? When we are talking about timelines, when we are talking about realities and the multitude of universes that we're in, we have a lot of control over our reality based on our belief systems. This is profoundly true. And if you're a hypnotherapist, a hypnotist, you probably are keenly aware of this, of how our beliefs shape our reality. Okay, so it might be that your belief system tells you that Metatron is a good, loving energy that's here to help you heal, that's here to help you, do good things and be in proper alignment. While that might be true for you, you are, within a reality where that is not true for everyone, right? So you have your experience on probably the same timeline that someone else, like you have your belief system that's creating your reality that's projected around you, and the timeline that you're on reflects that belief system back to you. So if we are aware that there are different timelines, and that some timelines serve our highest good and some timelines don't, right? And just to also say that we have a main, if we look at timelines, I think I've drawn this for you guys before. You have a main timeline that has different offshoots, right? You have a main, like a branch, you have a main timeline, like the limb, let's see, like the trunk of the tree is the golden organic timeline. And then you have these limbs that go off, that literally veer off and create other timelines associated to these other realities that are being formed, that are not in alignment with that central trunk anymore, right? They're like, oh, we're going to go over here and do our own thing, and we create multiple timelines based on this other thing. And so that might not be serving your highest good, going off on that limb, going off on those timelines connected to that limb. And there are many who are experiencing multiple timelines at once, right? We can even collapse timelines. One of my clients, present, we had a session yesterday where we literally eviscerated an entire timeline, and that is also possible for us, right? And I don't want to, I feel like we're getting into the weeds around timelines, but here's the thing. I do not believe that there are timelines where Metatron is a good guy and Metatron is a bad guy. That there are two different timelines. I don't believe that. I think that whoever said that is trying to create an excuse to make it okay to work with Metatron. Here's what we have learned, okay? And I'm going to remind you about the Ascension Glossary and also the conversations that Alabar Jones had with Archangel Michael, which moved me to make sure that I'm calling upon the highest consciousness of Archangel Michael, and that I'm working with the angelic beings from source, not from the covenant that controls the matrix where we reside. Okay? So the danger of considering that Metatron loves us eternally and is always working for our highest good is like literally throwing out the entire concept of the Jehovian overarching consciousness matrix within which we reside. So I also have an aversion to reading books written by humans that say this is the truth. This is the, that, how I feel about the Bible, and even like the Nag Hammadi and the Sumerian texts, they're all written by an energetic that wants to control the narrative, right? And so saying that Enoch, who was a descendant of Oh, God. I have 3 Bibles and I haven't read any of them. Don't worry about that. As long as you're not reading it, it's harmless. But I mean, that's a good question, Amanda. So Enoch is apparently a descendant of Adam and Eve, right? And he is rewarded by becoming an angel. And then he kind of steals the show and becomes this, overarching, energy of the structure of our reality. So it didn't happen like that, okay? I'm going to read you from, and here maybe I'm going to share. Wait, what did I just do? I'm going to share my screen because I want you to read this, but I'm going to also read this for you. So this is from the Ascension Glossary, okay? The Yahweh Matrix and Metatronic Reversal. So there is the reality, there is the truth that at one point, Metatron was good. Metatron is a collective of energy, right? Not sourced on planet Earth, not from here, okay? So when these books tell you that, this earthly being became an angel, no, he's not from here. Multiple millions of years ago, the host mission of the Metatronic family was to help repair the parts of the time matrix that fell into separation in the Milky Way that were originally from Andromeda. This destruction was the result of the Lyran Wars, or the fall of Lyra, the seed of the Antichrist conflict. Right? Some of you remember the Lyran Wars. There are also the Orion Wars. I believe they might be the same thing. Are those 2 different things? I'm not sure. Lyra was the 12th gate and source of crystal consciousness that connected directly into the Andromeda galaxy. When Lyra fell, its higher pieces that were connected to the natural Trinity wave crystal codes, the eternal living light architecture, became reversed and locked into the Milky Way system. As a result, over time, it became increasingly distorted, and the Metatron Collective attempted to retrieve and repair this 12th Stargate, but they failed. As a result, the Metatron Collective being unable to salvage the 12th Stargate, they were absorbed into the artificial intelligence system formed by the black hole entities, and they eventually digressed into the Yahweh system. So let's pause here. So keep my roses. Okay, so pausing here, all right? The Yahweh system. So it kind of depends on the perspective. According to this interview with Archangel Michael through a medium that Alabar Jones had, Metatron is a creator of constructs, right? And I mean, it's all in alignment with the sacred geometry that's used, the Metatron's cube, etc. And that information of the structures are used to create constructs, okay? His construct, so Earth already existed, okay? Earth already existed in that fall from Tiamat, from the 5D Tiamat to 3D Earth, okay? This happened before Metatron arrived, right? So there were things that happened in the universe, right, before Metatron chose and claimed Earth as his, okay? So the black hole entities or black star entities, we'll read more about that. These are negative aliens. So yes, reptilians and others as well, right? That their whole agenda is consuming of energy. And that agenda goes all the way back to the archons. Archonic energy are these dark wave energies that sometimes form into a consciousness, a negative consciousness that needs to consume in order to survive, to consume other energetic beings. And so they reach through the cosmos, through, quantumly, they can reach through multidimensionally and access different worlds and different beings and consume their energy. And of course, the most juicy energy for them is negative, right? So fear, anxiety, trepidation, these kinds of energies, anger, right? That is food for the archons. And so, if you were to just kind of come away from the archons, then we have negative aliens who also have to feed in this way, right? Who are also feeding off of what we refer to as loosh, okay? So the negative aliens participated with the Metatronic fall, right, to install the black cube system. So they hijacked Saturn, placed the black cube system into Saturn, and then project from Saturn's rings like radio waves. The rings are used as a projection device to the moon, which catches it as a satellite and then projects the matrix onto our planet. Okay. Is this new? Let's go back to this. Is this new for any of you? And maybe this will be redundant because of what I just said, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay. This system is connected to a black cube matrix through Saturn that is siphoning life force from the universal time matrix and routing it back into their black hole system. Saturn's black cube holds a massive tank that acts as a harvesting station for blood sacrifice from human beings in any way imaginable. So it's not just your emotions, but it's also war. It's also ritual, satanic ritual abuse, right? It's also through death cults, right? Crucifixion, ritual, martyrdom, suicide, etc., etc. It's used to pump out reversal violet ray plasma light, and this is the distortion that generates reversal plasmas and reversal violet light on our planet. These reversal plasmas are designed to ignite and feed the demon seed that exists in the shadow selves or negative forms of the masses. So demon seed resides on the planet, and whether or not you feed it is what matters, right? Whether or not you allow yourself to fall into the darkness. If you fall into the darkness, then you can begin to kind of germinate that demon seed, and the demon seed takes over within you. So this happens to a lot of people who, you hit rock bottom. Maybe you're in addiction. Maybe you are connected to satanic ritual abuse. Maybe you are a victim or a perpetrator. You can fall into that darkness within your being and either wittingly or unwittingly access this demon seed. Additionally, this alien construct was used to impale the crucifixion implants on the vertical axiotonal lines of the planetary body, which also devastated the vertical channel alignment of the planetary staff. Any questions so far? Right? So the Yahweh system leads back to the black hole system from a black star that is located at the center of our Milky Way galaxy called Abaddon. The Yahweh collective took over the 4 cardinal directions. Do you remember when I was creating the container and I asked for the unicorns to stand in the 4 cardinal directions so that we could reorchestrate these energies and let them be pure? And they use the Yahweh system to take over the guardians of the 12 pillars and the crystal cathedral architecture, blocking communication with Christic races outside of the system. So there are Christic beings, humanoid and non, that are in the full alignment with the Christic codes, right? With the Christ consciousness, even in a higher in a higher framework that we are even familiar with. Where was I? They use the Yahweh system to take over the 12 pillars. The alien machinery is called the Yod-He-Vod-He system, or the Yahweh matrix. It is obvious to assume that the fallen Yahweh entities decided that they were our gods and decided to implement a variety of mind control mechanisms by spreading religious beliefs so that humans would worship Yahweh or Jehovah as God creator. Okay. So if you want to keep reading this, please go to Ascension Glossary and just put in the keyword. Yeah, I will share this. But you can just put in the keyword of Metatron and you'll get this. Did I do that? Jessica, that is a really good question. So here's the link to what I'm reading. It's possible. I would definitely say that it's possible. I mean, everything has a higher consciousness, but I do not believe that the higher consciousness of Metatron is what we have access to here. You know? So as we are here within this construct, within this plane of existence, we have a responsibility to develop our own inner awareness, right? It looks like my flowers are focused, but my face isn't. Doesn't it? It's funny. So yeah, if people are not specifying, for sure. I mean, I'm sure that we can have access to that, but it's the lower consciousness of Metatron that has created where we exist, right? And so we do have the ability to say, I'm working with this energy, I'm working with this energy, and you can do that. However, the matrix itself is, I think I need to check my settings. Hang on a second. I feel like my face is like not focused. Is it fixing my face? Yes, it is. Enhanced skin appearance. There you go. Here's mine. Now I'm in focus. That's so funny. Okay. It was trying to remove my freckles. How dare you remove my freckles? So here's the challenge is, oh gosh. How can we work with a higher consciousness of Metatron if the lower consciousness of Metatron is seeking to control our consciousness? Right? And so are we allowed access to that? But also at the same time, if something has fallen, do they have a higher consciousness anymore? Right? Because we have to have this, we have to find the alignment within ourselves, right? We have to find the alignment within ourselves of where source light is and where it's coming from. And sometimes, if you consider the void, which is the mother, right? The void, the darkness, right? Like the uncreated, that is the presence of the mother. That can also be confused with the black hole, black star, Abaddon, control system that they're referring to in the Ascension Glossary. So it's important to know that the difference between that, right? From where I sit in this moment, I just feel that it is completely dangerous to be engaging with an entity. Yeah, Whitney, that's what I feel. And it's not that it doesn't exist, but that because of the control matrix, he wouldn't allow us access to that, right? Where are my roses? Give me my roses back, right? So the whole point of this construct is energetic consumption, right? It's not that these energies or that Metatron doesn't want you to feel good, right? It's not that Metatron doesn't have the ability to help you heal, right? It's like, yes, you have this help, yes, to a limited degree. And like there's this it makes me, like, my intuition tells me that in the same way that's like, oh, if you make an agreement with a being, they're going to, there's a give and take. There is a law of reciprocity in our universe that also goes along with free will. And within this, conversation with Archangel Michael and Alabar Jones, Michael said, when you ask for a blessing, be aware that you lose something in that exchange. And you don't get to know what that is. So that's frustrating, right? Whew, I'm having a hot flash. You see me, I'm starting to sweat. So what do we do? Is it safe to work with people that are working with Metatron? I would say to an extent, right? Like, I believe that, people who say like, well, wow, Metatron really helped me in my awakening. Okay, well, he can, he can help you to an extent, but he's not going to take you home. He's going to keep you looped into this Yahweh system. And Jessica, I can appreciate that, it's really challenging to receive information from people whose ego proceeds them. Right? So that it is kind of, it's difficult for me to also take everything in, because now it feels like he's having interviews with people, with demons and beings that are made up, And so, like, for example, having a conversation with Baphomet. Baphomet has energy because, has presence, energetic presence, because people believed in him, or them, let's say. It's kind of a transgendered being. But Baphomet was literally created in order to vilify the Knights Templar, right? In order to bring a case against the Knights Templar, to make them be known as devil worshippers. And so there was this name that was spoken in the trials of Baphomet. And that is a made-up being. That being does not have intricate placement on the earth, right? Like, there are other beings that have long-standing presence with demons, right? But this being was created and only drawn less than 200 years ago, drawn by an artist who was, not intentionally drawing a devil, right? So I take issue with some of what Alabar is talking about, some of what Alabar is doing, and even like some of the, like his style of communicating with these beings. He's completely directing the entire conversation. He's constantly interrupting these beings so that the medium can't even allow the the information to come through the channel, and like I take issue with interviewers who are constantly interrupting their interviewees, right? So that's an issue. If you actually cannot listen and participate in a conversation when you're interviewing something, right? It sounds like someone we know, then you're not helping anyone, and you're definitely not helping that interviewee to share the medicine that they have to share, right? So you think A is in league. I'm not sure I know what that means. You're talking about AJ or AG. So when it comes to reptilians, right? When it comes to beings that are feeding off of humanity, that is allowed. That's allowed, right? And there might be some people out there who think that they're doing the good work, and they have no idea that they're under a spell, that there is a huge dark being that is controlling them. And this is why, I have such a hard time with, it's like I'm trying to say it without saying it. So that I don't come under attack, because oftentimes when I do speak to the truth of what's happening within the Astara collective, I come under attack, psychic and energetic. And it's like I appreciate some of the things. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate the support. I appreciate some of the things that Alabar has said and what he's doing. But now I'm just like, ugh, So he never got back to me about being on the podcast anyway, which he's probably looking for more visibility than what I have. But the hard part is the ego of the human, and it's really it's really important for us to recognize that we're all humans, right? That we're all vulnerable. But the issue here that I just want to speak to is how many people are presently under attack, presently under a spell by a Hydra being. And this is the being that has compromised the leadership of Astara Collective. Definitely hasn't been there the whole time, but I would say at least a year, if not the beginning of 2025. And I saw the shift. I watched it happen. I warned her. I warned her about it, right? And there are a lot of people. There are a lot of influencers. There are a lot of, alleged spiritual teachers who are just a facade of human, and behind them is, something, something controlling them. I think Elizabeth April is one of them as well, right? And I don't want to just like go down the list of people that I'm concerned about, but I don't believe anything Bashar says anymore, right? I especially since he told everyone to get the jab, like, oh, all right, I know where you're at. And so this is the thing, is like, we have to be practicing discernment. And if you are concerned about it, I mean, there are people here in the comments that will tell you, just by looking at her podcast at LS, just by looking at her podcast, you can, oh my goodness, you can come under attack. And it, so she as leader is incredibly protected by these darker beings. And I believe that some of the mediums, at least like the initial mediums that were her main mediums, were put under a spell, like almost like a spiritual glamour. And so, and all being orchestrated by the handler of the blonde one, okay, who is controlled by reptilians. Plain and simple. And I had people warning, like a year and a half ago, like warning me about her and saying, like, all I see when I look at that woman, I just see dark ones all around her. And so I have asked psychics who did not know her to look at her, and they told me the same thing, right? And so this is why I find it so important to keep on this. If Metatron is coming through a channel, take heed. Like, be very careful, because I don't believe that there's any timeline where Metatron is actually serving the highest collective good according to source. I have, a lot more that I could continue to say about this, but it's my birthday and my husband's going to take me out to lunch. So I'm going to end here. And if you have concerns about yourself, what you might experience from participating with Astara or watching the astral exploration podcast, or being a participant in any way, you might experience that you have a challenge of connecting to your higher self or to your guides. You might feel incredibly ungrounded. Please come see me. I'm providing clearings for reparations, because I don't know why. I don't know why. I feel bad. I feel bad for people who are duped by them and who need help. And so I'm doing those clearings at a discount, because, somebody's going to clean up the mess, right? So I love you all so very much. And please do visit the Ascension Glossary. Please do, quite simply pay attention to how you feel when you listen to things, when you listen to someone's voice, right? Thank you, everyone. When you connect to an energy, I implore you to educate yourself around base 10 versus base 12. Finite systems versus eternal systems. And I've gone into it before, but it's really, it's really important to have understanding around this. And there's a lot more for us to learn. So stay connected. This Saturday, I have the Healing the Persecution Wound ritual ceremony that's going to be profoundly effective. And I think, excuse me while I have the hiccups. perfect timing for the astrological alignments on the 16th, for all of us to really take care of what we're holding within our systems in regards to persecution, the witch wound, imposter syndrome, really feeling like you hold yourself back for self-preservation. Let this loudmouth help you. And we'll have a beautiful ceremony and alchemize those ancient wounds. All right, my friends. Thank you to all of the divine beings who have held this container with us. We are so grateful for your loving protection and attention. We release you. Stay if you will, go if you must. And so it is. See you all soon. Go to my things. You can join our dragon tribe in an hour. It's every Thursday at 2:00 Eastern. And you can go to my Patreon to join that. Those are really powerful sessions, and profound healings happen there. Yeah, come and see what I'm up to. Base 10 symbols, all of your sacred geometry. We can talk about base 10 next week. We can talk about that. Well, we'll just keep combing through this information and learning more so that we can be in proper alignment. And may we all be in perfect alignment with the golden organic timeline of the highest and best. I love you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.